guys, it's Miss Friedman. Welcome to week 4 of distance learning. Welcome to my YouTube channel. As you can tell, I have 0 followers because I don't know what the heck I'm doing, but I was trying to do something a little bit different this week and hopefully a little bit more entertaining, mainly because I look like a fool because I'm not a YouTube person. But anyway, I just first want to say I know that school's not reopening this year, and that saddens me because I miss all of your faces, but I'm still here for you, even through distance learning. So always feel free to reach out to me. And also the reason why I'm doing this is a lot of you, when we were in class and I asked you what you wanted to learn about or what you're excited about learning this year, a lot of you said dog CPR because we have the dog dummies. Well, obviously you don't have access to random creepy dog CPR dummies at home, but I do. So I brought one of the dog CPR dummies home so I could teach you guys how to do dog CPR. So without further ado, this is the unconscious Casper, unconscious on his dog bed here. So the first thing you always want to do when you see a dog that appears to be unconscious is make sure the dog's laying on its side. But you never want to start by just performing CPR immediately, okay? You always need to first make sure the dog is not breathing, because if the dog is breathing, okay, you do not perform CPR on that dog. So the first thing you would generally do, just like to see if you were breathing, kind of, you can pretty much tell, but you look to see, where the rib cage is there a rise or fall? You can put your head up to this area. But generally when you're seeing or counting dogs' breaths per minute, you can see the chest rise and fall. So if the dog is not breathing, then you want to check for an obstruction. Okay, so why is it not breathing? It could be because it has an obstruction in its mouth. So what you would do would be to open the mouth. You want to pull the tongue out. Okay, you open the mouth. Obviously this is fake, but on a real dog, you would generally be able to see if there was something there. If there was a blockage, then you would perform the Heimlich maneuver, which we're not going to do in this video. So for this instance, we're going to assume the dog does not have a blockage. I'm going to randomly push its tongue back in before, just pretend I didn't do that. And then after you've checked to see if the dog is not breathing, you checked for a blockage in the airway, you need to check for a pulse. Now there's 3 areas to check for a pulse. So obviously on a human, it's very easy to tell where our heart is. On a dog, it is not that easy. So general rule of thumb is if you take the dog's leg and you fold it upward, I would try with my dog, but he's not so cooperative as you saw at the beginning of the video. You take the leg, you fold it upward. Where the elbow actually kind of pushes here, so if this wasn't actually a dummy and I folded the leg here, the elbow would kind of touch here. That shows me a reference point of where the heart is, because obviously if the heart is not beating, you're not going to feel anything, so you're not going to know anyway. So that would be your general rule. So this would be one area that you would feel for a pulse. The second is right between the dew claw and the pads. So you could either do the front, so you take your 2 fingers, here's the paw pad, here's the dew claw. Right in between that, if you take your fingers like this, you can actually have a pulse point here, or you could do it on the back leg, okay? I would usually do it in the front, but that's just me. And then you have the femoral artery. So the femoral artery on the, where the back leg or the femur is, if you kind of take your hand and you kind of scoop it underneath like this, there's a femoral artery there, and you will actually, if the dog does have a pulse, you will feel that right here, okay? So once you've checked where the heart is, here, where the dew claw is, or right between it, and then the femoral artery, if you don't feel any sort of heartbeat, then that would be you starting CPR immediately. Now, before I do that, I want to kind of preface this with a warning. Yes, you can practice on your dog, have your dog lay on its side if your dog's more cooperative than mine, and check for the pulse, the pulses. Hopefully you'll feel a pulse on your dog because it's conscious, but do not ever try CPR on a conscious dog, on a dog that's breathing, on a dog that has a heartbeat, because you can actually really injure that animal. So do not practice doing breathing, breath work on your dog. do not practice compressions on your dog, okay? The only thing that you could practice if you wanted would be just checking the pulses, okay? Okay, after that, you would first start with your breath. So you actually breathe through the nostrils of the dog. It can be a little tricky when you have a pug or something like that, but you actually close the mouth. It's a little hard because it's tongue back in, but you close the mouth like this. You breathe in. Okay, the chest should rise. So you do one breath, and then you take your hands and you put them like this, generally where the rib cage would be right here. And you're gonna do, if the dog is a small dog, generally under 30 pounds, you would do 5 compressions per breath. If it was a big dog, like this dog would, in reality, if it was a lab or something like that, would be well over 30 pounds, so you would do 10 compressions. So compression would look like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A lot of veterinarians or people will instruct you to do something called an abdominal squeeze when you're done, and that's this. That's just to kind of get the blood flowing. And then once you do that breath, you would go back, you would check your, for a pulse again, so you fold this up, check the heart, you check here, you check here. If you still don't have a heartbeat, then you would keep going. Okay, so I'm gonna demonstrate all of this kind of together. So we're gonna assume this dog's just lying here. Okay, I'm gonna check first that it's breathing. No breathing. I'm gonna look for an obstruction. No obstruction, just the tongue in the way. Whatever, we'll pretend that's not there. And then the pulse. So I'm gonna fold this up, check the heart. I'm gonna check between my dew claw. I'm gonna check the femoral artery. Okay, the dog is clearly unconscious. One breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm gonna then do my little abdominal squeeze. I'm going to check my pulse. And I would keep going until, unfortunately, you know, sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it's too late, but the idea would be to keep going until the dog's heart starts to beat again. So I also want to end this video with, I am not an expert, I'm not a veterinarian. Y'all know I'm just a pre-vet teacher. So if there's something I said incorrectly, then feel free to comment. Love you guys. Goodbye.